shots of stained glass cut me, searching for the perfect color. Nothing left but walls between us. I can see your hand is reaching, colorblind, can't see me bleeding. Love and hate together seeping. Why did you steal from me? Didn't you know that it was real to me? This thing you call a game, we never looked at anything the same way, baby. I'm stuck in a prison with you. Oh, 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 oh. Slowly I am turning violent. All we ever know now, violent. Symmetry, chaos, silence. I can see your hand is reaching, colorblind, can't see me bleeding. Love and hate together seeping. Why did you steal from me? Didn't you know that it was real to me? This thing you call a game, we never looked at anything the same way. You made a fool of me. Didn't you know that it would injure me? This thing you call a game, we never looked at anything the same way, baby. Trapped in a kaleidoscope, broken. Our rainbow, it's turning, it's turning. Why did you steal from me? Didn't you know that it was real to me? This thing you call a game, we never looked at anything the same way. You made a fool of me. Didn't you know that it would injure me? This thing you call a game, we never looked at anything the same way, baby. I'm stuck in a prison with you. Oh, 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 oh. I'm stuck in a prison with you. Oh, 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 oh. Tell me you love me. Yeah, I feel you breathing. It's getting heavy. So why don't you stay with me and hold me just like this? Oh, but darling, loving me is difficult, your loving me is hard. And it comes with pleasure when you give me your heart. Loving me is difficult, your loving me is hard. When I'm away, so you say that I'm your dream girl, 'cause you're hard enough to die. Can't you see I'm living in a dream world? When I'm away, get away. So you say that I'm your dream girl, 'cause you're hard enough to die. You don't know the me that is the real girl. When I'm away, get away. You've tortured me. that you say my name, the way that you act so fake, I knew you would turn away. I told you so, that's all that I'm saying. There's no sense in playing, no. Oh, 'cause darling, loving me is different, your loving me is hard. And it turns to tragedy when you give me your heart. Loving me is typical, your loving me is warm when I'm awake. So you say that I'm your dream girl, cross your heart and hope to die. Can't you see I'm living in a dream world when I'm awake? So you say that I'm your dream girl, cross your heart and hope to die. You don't know the me that is the real girl when I'm awake, So you say that I'm your dream girl, cross your heart and hope to die. Can't you see I'm living in a dream when I'm awake, So you say that I'm your dream girl, cross your heart and hope to die. You don't know the me that is the real girl when I'm awake, So you say that I'm your dream girl. I used to be the one you'd talk to. I used to be the one you'd call first when something good happened to you. I used to be the one that you text when you broke up with your man for the last time. I used to have tips on you. I used to have tips on you. Hate how we had it, wish we could mend it. I used to have tips on you. We used to stay up through the night, talking about our thoughts and wasting time till the sunrise. I had a shoulder I could cry on. Your door was open when I felt like dying, and I wanted to. I used to have tips on you. I used to have tips on you. Hate how we had it, wish we could mend it. I used to have tips on you. Yeah, yeah. I used to have tips on you. I used to have tips on you. Used to have tips on you. I used to have tips on you. Yeah, yeah. I used to have tips on you. Hate how we had it, wish we could mend it. I used to have tips on you. I used to have tips on you. I used to have tips on you. I hate how we had it, wish we could mend it. I used to have tips on you.
See how this sounds.
We never used to fight like this. So in our feelings, it's uncomfortable, unfortunate when you just can't foresee it. I don't want perfection from you, that's not my intention. It's just the way we're pacing around like madmen. We're cornered, dancing around each other, avoiding the point, cause it'll cut us. Let's cut a corner, just cut a corner, just cut a corner. Keep the elephant in the room, leave the suitcase in the trunk, yeah. Grab a drink, take off your shoes. Don't wanna make a scene, just make believe with me. Cut a corner. I didn't wanna see that truth. Raising our red flags, we're just facing off with facing this. Now I just can't unsee it. I don't want perfection from you, I just want attention. It's just the way we're pacing around like madmen. We're cornered, dancing around each other, avoiding the point, cause it'll cut us. Let's cut a corner, just cut a corner, just cut a corner. Keep the elephant in the room, leave the suitcase in the trunk, yeah. Grab a drink, take off your shoes. Don't wanna make a scene, just make believe with me. Cut a corner. I don't want perfection from you, I just want affection from you. Ooh, we're cornered, we're dancing around each other. Oh, we're cornered, dancing around each other, avoiding the point, cause it'll cut us. Let's cut a corner, just cut a corner, just cut a corner. Keep the elephant in the room, leave the suitcase in the trunk, yeah. Grab a drink, take off your shoes. Don't wanna make a scene, just make believe with me. Cut a corner. Cut a corner. It's coming up on the weekend, you know what that means. I'm gonna be driving myself down to the bar where we met. Out of 10, you were dressed to the nines wearing red, and I knew you were just my type, but I
Tick, tick, boom. Who bringing the noise? Go, baby, we bringing our toys. Separate men from the boys. Chopper be singing, should be on the voice. Bang, bang, we gon' ride out. Gang, gang, we don't die out. Want it like this, ain't no timeouts. Tell me who really gon' find out. Rowdy, we get rowdy, rowdy. Rowdy, we get rowdy, rowdy.
We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go ain't going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep.
Tick, 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 boom, boom.
Hello, everyone. I'm Bob Sandifer, and you are watching me, actually. If I turn the microphone on, you can actually hear me. I'm coming to you from downtown historic Macon, Georgia, and this is a brand new series. We're actually going to be doing a full album review for Mr. Phathead. I'm going to stick with his stage name because I don't know if he wants to be called by his not stage name. because sometimes I get in trouble for that, and I don't want that to happen. You guys were listening to Lucy Bell. You can find them at lucybellmusic.com. And that group, one of the producers in the group, the guitar player, the keyboard programmer, blah, 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 is my baby, mine and Dee's baby. Speaking of Dee, she's not with me. She's doing her own thing. She's back into the music big time, and she doesn't have time for me. She's, that's okay, though. I'm sorting it out. And she just said, you know what?
Hell no!
I ain't going to do it no more, baby. It is done. You got to do this thing on your own. And I said, okay, I'll give it a shot, see what happens. And let's see. Hold on just 1 second. I've got a call, and it is Phathead. Speak of the devil, that was Phathead there. We started a brand new YouTube channel because, well, there's a lot of reasons. Most of them were my fault. But now we have a brand new YouTube channel, and we've started propagating it with brand new videos and such, and here we are. We're here. We're here. And this is kind of the thing we do now. But anyway, this is new for us. It's not something new for the company. We're going to kind of treat this like an A&R visit, to be honest with you. We've had the opportunity to do that over the years, and we really, really enjoy it. I don't know about the artists that we've had to do this with, but we're going to give it a shot, see what happens. And luckily, Phathead doesn't know where we live or where we work, so this actually might go fairly well. So no, I'm just kidding. It's his producer and his mixing and mastering engineer that I'm more worried about. That's not true. It's not true at all. Those guys are absolutely amazing. They're stupendous and amazing and all that kind of stuff. These guys kick butt. They really do. So if I'm going to wait and see if we can get Phathead in here. He is on the way right now. And then we're going to start our reviews. What have we been doing lately? Well, first off, it has been busy. All right, Phathead is in the room. Awesome, awesome. And glad to see you, brother. I tell you, man, first off, let me give you some background with me and Phathead. He is easily one of my top 5 artists right now. Definitely one of my top 5 artists right now. It has been extremely hard not to listen, and I mean deeply listen to his music. When we first decided to do this, which was, like last year, and that was our fault completely. I think it was last year. Phathead can correct me. And things came up, man. It got busy. He got busy. It was really my fault, though. It's that time of the year. It just gets ridiculous here. And me and Dee listened to the album, and we did our normal routine to where we went through it top to bottom. And Mark took all of our notes and everything, and then that was it. We spoke to him on the phone, discussed it a little bit, not a lot. We don't like to go into a lot of detail. Kinda, again, the same thing we would do if we were doing an A&R session. and which we do work as private A&Rs. Sometimes we try not to, but every so often somebody will be in our area, and Dina has a lot of people in the industry that dislike her, and they'll send us to one of these people to, I guess, to give us a what for, I suppose, and to punish us for something we've done. So now, when we kept putting the review off, I wanted to listen to the album, but I couldn't, because I knew at some point we were going to do the review, and I didn't want to just keep listening to it, and then getting more and more, involved in the production and such, because sometimes when you hear things that aren't there. Sometimes you start really digging what's going on, and you overlook things, okay? And that's not the best way to do a review on a project. So what I would do is I would listen to the album while I was doing something else. So let's say I was setting up a mix for someone, or I was editing a session for someone, okay? I would put Phathead's music on, his album, and I would just listen to it from start to finish, or I'd put on random and listen to different songs, but I wouldn't listen to individual parts. Like I wouldn't listen to the mixing or the mastering or his performance and such. And I know a lot of people are going, man, how do you do that? That's impossible, Bob. Well, I've been in the music business a long time, so I just kind of tune the stuff out, like D. I just tune D out sometimes. I've got her frequency. I find it, and I just tune it out. Well, I did the same thing with Phathead's album. Now, you'll notice that when we get to the point to where where I'm doing the review, you'll see that some of the things that I'm going to say are just freaking crazy. Other things are going to be like, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, Bob, you're right. Maybe. I don't know. So the whole idea behind this and what I do is make suggestions. So based on all of these freaking years that I've been doing this, I'm just going to give you some basic suggestions. Now, some of them are, have you ever thought about trying this? And then some of them are going to be, hey, you really should have done this. And I'm going to stick to that. I'm very opinionated, and I can be dead on the money sometimes, but not all the time. And a lot of people that work with me know that, and they tolerate me sometimes. Because after 35 years of doing this, if you don't like what I say, I'll just call you a name and leave. I've learned to do that. And then I'll talk bad about you. Now we have social media. I can just talk bad about you all through the internet, and I'll call everybody and talk bad about you. That isn't true. I'm lying. So I'm just gonna move on. What do I do in the music industry? Well, I fix things. I've been fixing things since the late 80s, early 90s, when we first opened up our studio, me and Dee did, which was called Cats and Jammer Studios down in Albany, Georgia. People would come to us. I would hear something that needed to be taken care of, and I would go in and I would resolve the problem. Now, that could be replacing a drum sound. Yes, we did that back in the late 80s. It could be playing a bass part. That's what I did professionally. It could be adding some background harmonies, maybe a new guitar part, or it could be finding an S to replace an S that you screwed up on in the first verse. I'll go through your entire album until I find a good S, and I'll put it in the right spot, okay? Put all your music in time. Maybe do some other magic just to get your product finished so it can head straight to the top of the charts. That's what we do. People are slightly confused at what I do in the industry, but now you know, man. So, Arville Terry, man, what you doing? Thank you for coming in. I sure do appreciate it. We're going to have a great night reviewing Phathead's album. And, again, I'd like to point out that he has no clue where I live. So we're going to be as honest as we possibly can here. So with that being said, about what I do, the way I'm going to listen to this album, we're actually going through my mastering rig here in Macon, Georgia. So hope you guys can hear me okay. This is kind of a new setup for me, not using the giant boom arm, but I wanted you to be able to see me. so you can see how sincere I am when I'm talking to you guys. I'm going through my full mastering rig. So it's my mastering computer to my dangerous converters, and then these Shure SRH 1840 headphones, which is what I use to master on. So, I guess that's about it, man. I'm right to the point when it comes to equipment now. I don't go crazy unless my clients actually request that I use any analog equipment or anything like that. So you can find out everything that I do and my engineers do over at industryrecording.com. You can see the little orange thing right here. I made it purple and orange, my high school colors, which are Jones County in Gray, Georgia, in case anybody's from Georgia. I know a lot of my friends are that watch the show. Actually, I don't have any friends that watch the show. So what are we going to be doing here? We're going to be listening to the mixing, the mastering, the production, the performance, all of these things to get an idea of what is done perfectly, what could be done better, and the things that are...
What the hell? What the hell?
And we'll get a few of those. Not a lot, but we'll get a few of those. It is obvious that Phathead's engineer has worked with a lot of 2-tracks. There's no doubt in my mind, and I remember that from day one. He definitely, or however many engineers he has. Now, there's a couple of songs. I'm not 100% sure which engineer did what. I know we had discussed it, and I made it a point not to pay attention, but there might have been a couple of different engineers on the album. I'm sure Phathead can fill us in there, but the primary engineer is very well versed in working with a 2-track, which let's just call this the country genre, okay, country rap genre. I'm willing to say about 95% of the engineers and mastering engineers are not versed in working in this genre as far as mixing goes. I don't know where they get their learning from, but it is not from professional engineers. It is by far from professional engineers. Now, there are guys out there that are just absolutely amazing, and I don't want to take anything away from them, but they kind of treat their mixing like other bad mixers. So they're learning from people that don't do a good job, but they're popular, so they're actually learning from those guys, being popular, and transferring their skills to themselves, which the people that liked the other bad engineers like them purely because they like the artists that they're working with. So what does that do in the long run? Keeps people from getting higher in the charts. Now, if you're trying to get a specific new genre somewhere, and we're going to call it new because we're not getting some serious artists in the pop or in the mainstream charts, you have to reach for better quality and better production, better mixing, better engineering, better mastering, better everything, okay? And with Phathead's music, you're going to hear a lot of those, a lot of that product is there, okay? Hey, puppy, I got a giant dog here. And again, I'm not sure why they can't hear some of the artists that are in the top 10, or even if they listen to Phathead's engineer and go, you know what? He has got amazing vocal placement. Or I don't hear any crazy, weird panning shit. There's nothing flying around in the mix. Or that crazy high-endy telephone voice sound that's been used to death and just really shouldn't be used anymore, man. It's kind of over and done with. You know, these are things that are just not done, in the professional high-end market anymore. It's great because it's easy to jump on those things. It really is. You know, if you need to be able to hear the ad-libs or the background vocals, you can always make them high-endy and they'll stand out. But have you ever noticed that the top 10 singles or the high-end production singles, even in the country rap genre, don't have to use that? And there's a reason for that. They understand vocal placement. They understand how to develop a vocal to the point to where it's generated its own space, and it's thick and rich, and it can separate itself from the main vocal or the lead vocal. Most of the people that I work with treat the background vocals and the ad-libs exactly the same as the lead vocal. Now, how are they capable of finding a spot for those things that they just don't sound cluttered and muddy? Well, it has everything to do with the mix. So as a mixing engineer, once you sort that out, now you're heading in a different direction as far as your production goes. So let's get on with it, and let's see what we can do here, because I'm sure everybody says I talk way too much, and I will just ramble. Now, I prefer, on all of our shows, we've been doing this roughly since about late 2017, early 2018. I really like to get feedback in the room. If I say something that you don't agree with, then tell me. That's all you have to do, and I'll argue my point, and in the end, you'll realize that I'm right. Okay, so that's not true. However, I will tell you why I said what I said and why I feel that it will make a difference. But I'll leave you a comment or whatever. If you feel like getting nasty, I'll take my shirt off. I can get nasty if I need to. So let's go to the first song. Now, this is the intro. We usually don't do any like intro stuff, mainly because it's an intro and it's leading up. Now I'm going to go to iTunes. Because it's leading up to what the album's going to be about. So truthfully, it could be, a little bit of anything. It could be a skit. It could be whatever. However, Phathead kind of, he kind of did well on this bad boy. So let's see what we got here. Well, that was nice of it. Now, talking to Phathead, man, I tell you, he has had, I don't want to say a rough time, man, because he survived. The main reason is because he's a survivor. And you can tell in his music that he's got a lot of feeling in the album. I have special effects lined up for him, so that way we can all feel it. I got one over here that's not it. That's not the right one. That'll work. Okay, so anyway, here's the intro. This is the very first thing we got here.
You can make it just a couple more but that's and my people still living broke. It makes me sad. Down speaking through your speakers.
Now this is directly off of iTunes, so this is what you're getting. And it is also going through the same rig.
The introduction to a masterpiece. A masterpiece. In the garden of music, I'ma reach out and grab the beat. When I'm cooking up a track, I'm only using half the heat. They just average me. You don't really want that Wagyu beef. Fresh out the frying pan into the booth. No time for lies, just 38 minutes of truth. They out the mud with it, huh? Well, I live in the roots. I'm authentic. I show them what them lyrics will do. I tried to sell a key of dope. Instead, I found the music keys to hope. I always felt the song. I was never taught to read the notes. I'm just here to teach the ropes. Nowadays, I speak in quotes. They out there sleeping on me. Well, that's how dreaming goes. Music child, damn right I move the crowd. Raised by the microphone and guaranteed I do it proud. Music child, damn right I move the crowd. Raised by the microphone and guaranteed I do it proud.
outstanding. Again, don't really do reviews on intros and such. We got a
First off, best believe I'm a wordsmith. Work hard first shift to the third shift, and I'ma ride an excursion to purpose. I surface from the underground where the dirt is. A growth spurt to the top tier. I'm looking down at my comp here. They can't compare. I'm locked in with the heat. There's a hot sear. They got me cooking on the track. Media, I'm rare. And you a flash in the pan when it's high stake. The boy buzzing, I don't care what your vibrates. When a 10, I'ma tilt the scale. You guppies gotta wait. Y'all ain't built this well.
I'm the realest MC because I move the crowd. I'm the realest MC because I move the crowd. I'm the realest MC because I move the crowd. I made the cut, I'm blasted the music out. I'm the realest MC because I move the crowd. I'm the realest MC because
now that vocal there is a great production.
I'm right back, I ain't done with y'all. I paint an empty canvas with my southern drawl. I'm never too busy when the money calls. I'm gonna take the whole cake, I want crumbs and all. I said it's my birthday when the money calls. I'm gonna eat the whole cake, I want crumbs and all. I break bread, split crumbs and all. Their bread is
actually the orchestra hit.
Rise up and overcome the fall. And I'm a ball till I bounce back. Over hurdles through the mouse traps. The color purple in my loud pack. I'm the movie in the soundtrack. A pit bull to a house cat.
Now notice those ad libs, they're perfectly clear. How the engineer dropped those right in, perfect volume, you can hear everything.
I'm the realest MC because I move the crowd. I'm the realest MC because I move the crowd. I made the cut, I'm blasted the music out. I'm the realest MC because I move the crowd. I'm the realest MC because I move the crowd. I'm the realest MC because I move the crowd. I made the cut, I'm blasted the music out.
Spitting bars is the easiest part. I can walk into the room and take a seat with the shark, and they know I'll feast on the shark. Homie, I was in the womb freestyling to the beat of my heart. All I need is a beat in the mic. They say you take a man fishing, he can eat for the night. But if you teach him in the fish, he can eat for his life. Reeling in rappers, I throw a hook and they all gon' bite. Damn right, I keep an appetite to push through when disaster strikes. My childhood was a sacrifice. Music never gave bad advice. It's lights out when I grab the mic.
I'm the realest MC because I move the crowd. I'm the realest MC because I move the crowd. I'm the realest MC because I move the crowd. I made the cut, I'm blasted the music out. I'm the realest MC because I move the crowd. I made the cut, I'm blasted the music out. I'm the realest MC. I'm the realest MC. I'm the realest MC.
Now, absolutely fine production on that. Now, let's, real quick now, as with this genre, I haven't really heard anybody in this genre yet that sounds like they've come out of a studio like Larrabee or someplace like that, some really big studio that's got $1 million console or anything, okay? That's not the quality we're going to see or we're going to hear out of any of this genre yet. I'm just going to be honest with you. However, well, I take that back. There have been some country rap artists that have been promoted by major labels. Now, I'm not talking about the what people are saying major labels. I'm talking about the honest-to-God major labels with huge distribution, $1 million contracts, those kind of people. Now, those artists do work out of $1 million studios, and when you listen to their music, you can tell, okay, everything's placed perfectly, okay? Now, when I listen to a song like this, I'm hearing top-of-the-line production for the style of music this is. What you're getting is you're getting a old-school mix of how the music is produced. However, you're getting a brand new sound as far as quality goes. So you're getting that rich, thick, digital, nice and punchy brass that's there. I guess it's a full orchestra hit, which the engineer pulled that off freaking amazing. The scratching, I was knocking on people earlier about the panning. Well, that's the way it was done. You know, if you guys weren't around when everybody was on the 1200s and stuff, that's the way they panned the stuff, man. It was moving around and shit because we could do it, okay? Vocals, beautiful place on this song, man. The production aspects of the vocals were absolutely phenomenal, man. Phenomenal. They were. Did you notice that when Phathead came in with his ad-libs and such, they were crystal clear. You could hear everything. I think they were a tad bit loud, but I would much rather have them loud than tucked back in some weird high indie thing that sounds like we're pushing on the 2000s again, you know? So, you know, like you picked up a broken telephone or something. Oh, man, stop doing that, guys. Stop doing it. Learn how to mix, okay? Learn how to mix in your vocals. So everything he said was 100% legible, okay? You could hear everything. That's a sign of a really good engineer knowing how to place his instruments and how to place his lead vocal. Now, this could have been a 2-track. This might have been produced by a producer that realized that he was going to put vocals in his 2-track. If that's the case, then that's what you need to do. You either need to get your 2-track to someone that can fix that, send it in to an engineer that knows how to take care of that. It doesn't take a lot of time and effort. A lot of people will do it for like $50 to $100. We'll get that thing worked out for you, get it back to you. Now you got a spot for your vocals to go in, or he can tell you how to do it. I know people will call us up and we just say, hey, look, do this, this, and this. You're going to follow the instructions, right? Do this, this, and this, and that'll take care of the problem. Now you can mix your vocals in like you need to. But the engineer knew how to deal with that track. If it was a 2-track, I can't tell because the mix was so good on it, man. I'm going to be honest with you. Anyway, God almighty, what a great track. It really was. Really a lot of movement. Got my attention right at the beginning of the album, too. Just bam, it was right there. That's another thing, man. If somebody puts this album on freaking shuffle, they are screwing themselves. I can tell you that now from listening to it way back when. This is not how to listen to this album. I know it sounds like I'm a fanboy, but you know what? I might get him later. Okay, here we have one. Here's one called "Ride with Me." If I can get it back to where it was. There we go. Good brass.
Come on and ride with me. We can put our problems in the wind. Ride with me. Down the only road that never ends. Ride with me. I'd rather be with no one else. Hey, it's better than you riding by yourself.
The Ride With Me.
Come on and ride.
Should have had more vocals there. Some more stuff tucked way in the background.
Down the only road that never ends. Ride with me. I'd rather be with no one else. Hey, it's better than you
Maybe a different timbre in your voice.
He slammed the door, she can't stand no
Maybe the
more.
producer.
They pushing limits, threats and regrets, passionate in every sentence. This relationship's diminished, she's backing out the drive. He's screaming through the window, there's tears in her eyes. She rides, carrying her guilt like that. Now I'm speaking through your speakers, cause I'm built like that. You should always love yourself and never put a man above it. Until you find the one that understands what real love is. Until then, hold your head up and keep it moving. A highway of emotions, but yet we still cruising. I know you're tired of losing, but there's plenty to gain. They say that happiness is only 10% of your pain. Switch lanes, that's 90% that you can change. It's not an easy road when you go against the grain. Just remember, there's no shame in stepping up. There's better days ahead, it's just a couple exits up. Come on and ride with me. We can put our problems in the wind. Ride with me. Down the only road that never ends. Ride with me. I'd rather be with no one else. Hey, it's better than you riding by yourself. Come on and ride with me. just died. He wonders why, wipes his eyes and feels panic. He won't put something on you, nothing more than you can manage. A disadvantage could be a tool used to fix the damage. You gotta learn how to move through these wicked antics and understand that you are better than this. Only you can beat the demons that you're wrestling with. I know it's hard for a man to accept and forget, but self-reflection beats the pressure. Flip that negative switch to a positive outlook and be in charge of your life. The harder the fight is nothing to the heart that can fight. Hang a right towards the righteous and keep the Lord near you. A light through the dark is guidance with a clear view. I know you think nobody's listening, but I can hear you. Keep pushing forward, I got your back like your rear view. Come on and ride with me. We can put our problems in the wind. Ride with me. Down the only road that never ends. Ride with me. I'd rather be with no one else. It's better than you riding by yourself. Come on and ride with me. We can put our problems in the wind. Ride with me. Down the only road that never ends. Ride with me. I'd rather be with no one else. It's better than you riding by yourself. Come on and ride with me, right down memory lane. We done all been through it, so I'm feeling your pain. And mental scars, all we got is us and the stars. So what's an object when the subject is hard? 10 toes to the dirt, stay in tune with the earth. And listen close when you're consuming these words. Come on. We taking a trip, so save me a place in the whip. And I'm gonna just make an attempt to get you through life. Some type of advice to break through some crazy event. The still of the night, the way you can drive away from the craziest shit. I'm just providing a place you can be in. Minor adjustments, major intent. Lately it seems they would do anything just to keep you way away from your dreams. What is the point in you playing the king if you had no intention of taking your team? Maybe it's green, cash rules everything around me. I exercise my freedom through this music and you found me. Depending on this engine of mine, we gon' cruise through this world. 2,000 RPMs at a time. We can put our problems in the wind. Ride with me. Down the only road that never ends. Ride with me. I'd rather be with no one else. It's better than you riding by yourself. Come on and ride with me. We can put our problems in the wind. Ride with me. Down the only road that never ends. Ride with me. I'd rather be with no one else. It's better than you riding by yourself.
Loved it. Okay. I'm sure a lot of people could pick it apart for a lot of reasons. I can't. For very specific reasons, because it sounded exactly like it was supposed to. Okay. Again, the producer did a great job. Whomever. I didn't look because I didn't want to look him up. Okay. So, okay. I didn't want to look at his credits. I didn't want to do any of that stuff, okay? The mastering, it was a tad bit muddy around in the 250 or so. Now, Bob, do you have some, DJ Original, right? Okay, so how do you know, Bob? You have some kind of crazy super witchy warlock ears? No, I can see it. I'm looking right at it in front of me because it's running through my mastering program. Remember, we already talked about that earlier. Okay, so it's got a little build up in the 250. I would have flattened that out a little bit. Okay, pretty steep, like around 200 and probably really 250, maybe a notch filter, to be honest with you. Like really just, pulled it down. But that's me. And industry standard wise, it probably that could have happened. Now, that's what I would, that's my opinion, again, because of doing a lot of music on a regular basis. But other than that, I'm digging it, man. Everybody did a great job on that. I like Phathead's raspiness. I do. From the past, the next one coming up, I got a few suggestions here, though, on this one, because I'm hearing something a little different. So we were leading into that. Good transition with some changes, and I'm gonna really head into this. So. This one's called "Tell Me How You Feel."
There's no time to fall off of the grind. I'ma always be the
A
realest
little
in my
flat
mind.
on that first note.
Live or die, I'm gonna make 'em touch the sky. Cause I'll always be a legend in my eyes. So tell me how you feel. What it is to make it out the low class. Me without this rap is like a bum with no cash. Got tired of selling that dope, that lane was just so fast. My dream is the Windy City, I'm watching it blow past. See, this right here ain't for the people with the shiny cars. It's for the kids on the streets, fathers locked behind the bars. Every time I spit a bar, I take their brain about the pen. Man, with this pen, it's God's gift, it's a must I win. I ain't believing this shit. These kids starving to death and their parents needing to fix. It goes deeper than this. That's why the richer gets rich and my people still living broke. It makes me sicker than sick. I tell you how I'm feeling, man. I'm feeling like millions of people on my
Oh, I love that
music. Glad you took the
timbale
time to
snare,
listen.
man.
Cause this ain't about the money
Great
or an internet
production call.
subscription. I'm just trying to paint the whole world a vision. There's no time to fall off of the grind. I'ma always be the
Great
realest in
vocoder.
my mind. Tell me how you feel. Live or die, I'ma make 'em touch the sky. Cause I'll always be a legend in my eyes. So tell me how your man can withstand.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it right there. Tell me how you feel. As a remake, personally, if this was one that we were producing, that really should have like a buried choir effect. That tell me how you feel. It should be like a choir type or a multi-layered vocal sound. Nothing against you, Phathead, but I think the production value on this one should be stepped up a few notches. I think you could have gone from, let's say if 10 is #1 hit single on the pop charts, let's say this is a 7, and that's not knocking anything. 7 is amazingly high. I think we're floating around a 5, and we would immediately shoot up to a 7, just immediately, and we could start grasping up to see if we could get some social media interest, and you never know what happens from there. Okay, so if you had, and I'm going to be honest with you, and see, this is one of those things where people go, well, what does Bob do in the industry? Bob fixes things. This is one of those where I would suggest, hey, have you thought about getting a choir or a men's group or something to sing that part? And it's like, well, I don't know. Let's get something and try it out. So I would call and get something pro bono because we don't want to spend no money, right? And say, hey, could you do this for me? I'd find a studio, and they would go, okay, cool, you owe me a favor, blam, bam, bam. Next thing you know, we got that in there. If everybody listens to it, they don't like it, then nobody's out anything, right? That's how it works. It's the industry, man. But that's what I hear, okay? And it would just be so freaking big, man. It's, I got goosebumps. Goosebumps on me means money, I'm going to be honest with you. It's not like, oh, it's so exciting. It just flat out means money, okay? So now I'm excited. Damn, I might do it anyway. Now I got to stem the whole thing out. God almighty. Let me start it back up. Okay.
understand anything without a flaw. Tell me what's the point in climbing if you ain't prepared to fall? When Jordan picked up the ball, he knew that would be his passion. First time that I grabbed the mic, the phoenix came from the ashes. Just wait till I reach the masses and move the world by the million. These music notes that I'm casting could change the heart of a feeling. They feeling just like I'm feeling. Give hope to these younger children. They grew up without a house and still managed to break the ceiling. And right when the hate is building, what's left of a love for living. I'm doing this for the people that struggle with drug addiction. Ain't giving enough attention. I talk to kids and they listen. I ain't a politician, but I kicks it with them a minute. They talking like I was finished, imprisoned by my ambition. That's life behind bars. I'm writing with every sentence. They judging me for my lyrics. I'm lifted by kindred spirits. I'm just trying to give the whole world an image. There's no time to fall off of the grind. I'ma always be the realest in my mind. Tell me how you feel, live or die. I'm gonna make them touch the sky. Cause I'll always be a legend in my eyes. So tell me how you feel.
Now, not to keep on this one part, but you could have like a call and answer on that. Once you get the vocalist in the studio, that's when you start going, hey, would you mind doing this and would you mind doing that? And I mean, you just lock the door, and you give them some liquor, or well, I'm just kidding. You don't lock the door. You give them the liquor, of course, but you would have one set of a mix and a certain number of vocalists sing the first part of that hook. Well, you know what? We're not even going to call it a hook. We're going to call it a chorus, because now it's getting built up, and we're going to head straight into that pop thing, buddy. We're going pop with that sucker. So you do that first part, and then you would have a heavier second part that would do the second half of that chorus. So now you've got something that is people are going to remember, basically forever. So perfect music is what is on the charts. Now, what makes it perfect, though? You're going to listen to a song and go, well, that ain't perfect music. Bob's crazy. Something made it perfect, though. Something made it perfect that made people remember it. It could be a hand clap. It could be finger snaps. It could be a male choir. It could be a bunch of a black choir and everybody's going church on it. It could be a lot of different things. You're still the focus, Phathead. I don't know, why am I looking at a freaking light? I don't even know why I'm looking at, because my camera's usually up there. Dina didn't put my camera. Okay, so something would make it perfect, and it could be, that in the song that would do that. And, see, I fix things. Yeah, see? Okay, here we go. I swear I am not going to mess with this song anymore. Man, this beautiful bass. Beautifully tuned 808 there, that sine wave. The vocoder is stunning, brother. Outstanding, man. Way to freaking go. Now, about an hour and a half later, tell me how you feel. It does it again. And we all know it does. And me and Phathead already talked about that. It can go way the hell out there, but I think it needs just a little bit closer. And personally, here's a production call. I would have Phathead say it instead of have it sing-songy. Just, tell me how you feel. Like he just settled down and go, like he's just talking to the person that's been listening. Oh, man, I got money bumps. Like you're just talking to the person that just listened to your song, and you just want them to understand what you're saying. Just, hey, tell me how it feels, Tell me how you feel. Tell me how something feels. blah blah blah. Just like you're just saying it to get the point across at the very end. See, again, man, a great production call on your part to just finish it up. The singing was okay. I'm not going to knock it, but I honestly do feel in my heart, and all this comes from my heart, that would have been an amazing production call simply because I feel what you're saying and I believe what you're saying, and that would be the end of with you speaking directly to me as a fan. It's just Joe Blow hearing your music for the first time. So that's my thought. Okay, so Better Days. So this is our halfway point here. Oh, no Lindrum snare.
Mama said that there'll be better days than time pass. You walking around wondering where your time's at, but that's according to what you're viewing your time as. Pause, react, rewind, timestamp. A crazy world that we living in, but that's a world that we can change and create a better place to bring our children in. And Christ died for our committed sins. You got to open up your heart, and through the Lord you can live again. But then again, she got devilish veins. All the drugs in the world couldn't settle her pain. Another human slain is addicted to the pharma, and that's the crazy thing about karma. See, daddy left mama and she couldn't support me. Hell, he even gave her money to abort me. And failed to her the drugs were more important. Same reason that she died's the reason that I'm alive.
Know the way you feel, you're not the only one in pain. Just keep your head up high above the sky and thank God for better days. I know the way you feel.
Okay, we're gonna stop it right there. Okay, the lead vocal's a tad bit loud, but better loud than too soft. Okay, so that's a pass. I can give you that one. Now let's go to that church that's going on there. There's something on that vocal though. I'm hearing that church, that gentleman that's singing in the background. I can hear his ad-libs, and they're super clean, man, and just he's belting out some crazy soul, man. I'm talking some blue-eyed soul runs there, and but the lead vocal's got some crazy harmonizer or something on it, man. It's I tell you, it's just flat out ruining that his vocal part. I'm just flat out. It shouldn't be there. It's not doing him justice, man. It's taken away from the song and the song, the way the music's structured with that old school hand clap, and it's got kind of a like an old hip hop vibe to it and all. But then it comes in and there's something weird, man. I don't know. I'm thinking like a harmonizer, or because I don't know if somebody would go back in with his vocal talents and sing that version of a harmony, unless it's been done like with Melodyne or Auto-Tune or something. It's really weird, man. I tell you, it's I have relative pitch. Okay, I don't have perfect pitch. I suck, but I have relative pitch. So once I get a note, then I can tell you where all the other notes are. Now I know what key this song is in just by listening. It was a freak, okay, that I picked up on that. But then there's that weird thing that's happening on the vocals. And man, I tell you, it's like somebody pouring cold water down my back. I'm sure most people wouldn't hear that, but the buying population would. Okay, the more high-end and refined buying population would pick up on that in a heartbeat as being something not right. So again, that's one of those things where you'd have to listen to it and maybe get some other people to listen to it. And in the process of producing music, there's not only do you have the tracking engineer or the producer and all these other people, but you also have even the mastering engineer is the final producer, if you think about it. He's the last set of ears. So if that song came to me and I was going to master it, I would have questioned it. I would have came back and said, hey, you know those harmonies aren't right. They're like a half step off or something. So when it comes in, it's like that's all I can concentrate on. Like so when you come in, it's like all of a sudden there's something wrong, period. So I don't even really pay attention to you. I'm waiting for that to happen again, hoping that it's not going to be as bad as the first time. Now I know I'm really beaten. You know, I'm really getting on it, but it really is that wonky, man. So and it just amazes me with all this other quality. I'm talking crazy high-end quality. There's that. So that seems kind of weird. Now, it could have been the artist that wanted it done. It could have been the producer. It could have been the mixing engineer. There's a whole line of things that could have happened there. I don't know, Phathead. It could have been you going, hey, damn it, you got to do this. So I don't see that because I think it's something you could pick up on. But anyway, so let's keep going here.
You're not the only one in pain. Just keep your head up.
Oh, those backgrounds too. Bring them up, man. They're beautiful in the center too. Man, he did a great job. As far as the vocal tone, absolutely outstanding. Got to bring them up though. Just got to get them up a little bit. That hand clap too needs to be. I don't even know who this person is. You can't call in. It's not a call-in show, but I appreciate it. Thank you. Man, his vocal sound is so distinct, and it's treated like the main vocal that's going on at that time, which is the church vocal. You know, he's doing all the church. If you bring it up, even in the center. Okay, even being in the center, which is extremely complicated to do, apparently for some engineers, I don't know why. Okay, yeah. So it's so anyway, we said Sweetwater, man. I got lost for a second, and. So again, it's great. I would just bring it up a little bit, man, because it's perfect. It really is, man. As an engineer, so many people try to be able to get that singled out to where the vocal is so good, but see, it's matching what he did, so it's already perfect. So the engineer did a great job on that. Just get it up a little bit. Just bring it up a little bit. Oh, yeah, Sweetwater, baby. I tell you, those guys are awesome. Free shipping, free financing. They get your shit to you. They've outfitted 3 full facilities for me. And as a matter of fact, they're putting together a brand new one for us right now. Everything I see in front of me, not all of it is from Sweetwater. Some of it is from Yamaha because we are now I'm personally endorsed by Yamaha now. And I love their products. I'll talk more about it in later shows when we're doing our mixing and mastering stuff. So anyway, yeah, Sweetwater hat, brother. I love these guys. As a matter of fact, maybe we should have, oh yeah, candy. Don't forget the candy. Candy. I always get choked on bit of honey, so Dina always asks me for more bit of honey. I never should have let her see my, what's it called? What do you get when you die? It's my freaking life insurance. Now she asks them for extra bit of honey. I don't know why I choke. But also, if you would, ask them to include real Brock's butterscotch. We're sending a petition to them for real Brock's butterscotch, which has real butter in them. Okay, not that cheap crap you get off of Amazon or whatever. Real Brock's butterscotch, okay? So we're trying for that. Oh, by the way, we've got tons and tons of Sweetwater products to give away. Hats, T-shirts, gear, all kinds of stuff. So if you keep coming back, next thing you know, there's going to be some freaking awesome goodies. Okay, so let's keep going, man, because oh man.
Up high above the sky and
See what I
thank
mean?
God for better days.
Still a great job, though.
It was the only time I felt what a parent was like. So I played with the music, I stayed with the music. A seed in the dirt, I was raised by the music. The way I abused it with hate and confusion. The only time I could separate from delusion. My brain was intruded, a brace of conclusions. But that's the way I could make major improvements. The
Awesome,
way that I do this. Blessed as a music child, birth of a grown man, death of a juvenile. Fate's in my own hands, some call it destiny.
It's nice to meet you,
Hard work
man.
is how
Nice to
leave
meet you.
behind a legacy. I can take it note to note, hold tight, I know the ropes. So hold you so much higher than the growth of gross. And take control of your life, homie. No remote place in this world could ever keep you from the Holy
I
Ghost.
know the way you feel. You're not the only one in pain. Just keep your head up high above the sky and thank God for better days. Said I know the way you feel.
Now, is that the same
You're
guy?
not the only one in pain.
Is that the same
Keep your
guy?
head up high above the sky and thank God for better days.
Anybody can be an artist, but you got to have the passion to be legendary. Music is your art, son.
Okay,
Now go out
see
there
what I'm
and
talking
paint
about
your
now.
man.
You see what I'm
So
talking
if music is art, the brush represents my heart. Every canvas leaves a lyrical mark, abstract in the dark. It's in my blood to be a legend of bars, but true colors is what sets me apart. Cause I'm on a different palette, plus I'm moving with this music as an outlet. Now I'm here and they can't do nothing about it, and I doubt it. If I ever
He's
believed
being a
that I could
little
ever live without
overcompressed,
it,
though,
it's
just
imperative for me to be prepared to
Real-
go to
really,
Mali.
he's
I'm
being
paired up with the beat, and I can feel it where my heart
overcompressed
is.
for,
An
that
artist
style
had
of
no
vocal.
problem redefining what the art is. The smartest in the room isn't always most accomplished.
Just
I
a bit,
decide
though.
to keep it real and always listen to my conscience. And what it's telling me is there's a chance that I could be a great. Shooting for the stars ain't bad when you're needing space. And get familiar with your failures cause you need mistakes.
Gotta love that
Better
hand
days is
clap.
something that we can all appreciate.
I do my hand clap. On a where am I? On an artist like that, I tell you what I usually do is when we're tracking somebody that's got that kind of dynamics and that much church in his voice. What we'll do is when we're tracking going into the vocal, our vocal chain is Neve 1073, an LA208, and 1176. So we barely touch both of the compressors going into the console or DAW, whatever you're using. And then we also have a vocal chain in the DAW that has a couple of compressors on it as well. So it's an odd chain, and it's the same chain we've used for dozens of artists going all the way back until the 80s. To be honest with you, I got that same with the studios that I worked at originally. That's the same vocal chain they used, so there was no reason for me to change it. It worked. Using a good quality mic, like a 251 or a 47, and then going into a vocal chain like that. The compression, yeah, but vocal compression is fine for the artist as long as he's not really dynamic. This guy's singing, though. So when you're singing, though, there were a lot of dynamics in that. And if you crush the dynamics on a singing voice, which could also have been through the mastering process. I'm not saying that it was just done in the, at the mixing process, because that, you have to be careful with that. It can be done. A song like this wouldn't have been heavily, I probably wouldn't even have compressed this song in the mastering process. I would have just made sure that the engineer himself would have handled all the compression that he needed, and then I would have handled the volume limiting wise by using a peak limiter. So, but still, vocals have to have some breathing room, in any music. There's no way around that. Even in rap music, when you talk about over-compressing vocals in rap, it's hard. Sometimes it's nice when somebody can come into a studio and see how you get what most people think is an over-compressed vocal sound and realize that the compressors are barely moving. So just a tip. What really happens is there's multiple compressors that build up in stages. So by the time a vocal is finished, no matter what anybody tells you, people are always telling young engineers and engineers that are trying to learn how to do it this way and that way and this way, and they're giving you presets and such. First off, presets never work. They're a great starting point. They're an amazing starting point for young artists and young engineers and young producers. But every vocal is going to be different. What mic you use, what the vocalist is like, everybody. I start with presets. My engineers start with presets a lot of times. Now, my really good engineers just grab the compressor and set them the way they need them as they listen to the vocal. But there's nothing wrong doing it the other way. Now, what they're going to do is, again, if they're tracking the vocal, they're going to use 2 compressors going in. They're going to, now this is without using a console, because they're also going to use the amount of compression and saturation that would be going in the board and in the tape also. But we're not doing that. We're using a DAW, okay? So they're going to use both compressors. And then once they get in there, the vocal chain most of us use here is going to have a minimum of 2 compressors and probably a de-esser in there to eliminate, actually, I'm extremely, extremely familiar with DaBaby. So I can tell you right down to a T what DaBaby's vocal chain is and how they track it. So if you're interested, we can sit down and talk about it. So same thing. The vocals are heavily compressed, and I have never once seen anything on the net that described exactly what the engineer did to his vocals to get the sound that he's getting. I've seen people, and I've seen the engineer throw out information that wasn't correct. Remember, when one door opens, another door closes, or flip that around if you'd like. So to get a heavily compressed vocal isn't using a lot of compression all the time. It's stacking compression for added control. So it's hard to explain that unless you've worked with A and B level artists, or worked with major labels, or worked with major engineers before. After 35 years of doing this, I've had an opportunity to work with a couple of people like that. So how do you learn how to do those things? Well, it's not from going to school anymore, because you don't get any access time in any of the studios. It's basically going to a studio and they teach you these tricks. If you don't go to those places, you're not going to learn them, because you're not going to learn them online, because people learn tricks by getting the information from other engineers that a lot of times they're getting fed information from engineers that don't want to lose their job. So it's the same thing as me. When I'm mastering a song, when I do it live, I go to a certain extent or to a certain point, and then I stop. So I was like, okay, we're here. And then I say, okay, great, man, it's been fun, blah, blah, blah. And then I go in and I finish my work, because I'm a mastering engineer for a living. I also don't go into detail how I find syllables and move them around and such, because this is what I do for a living. And if you want to learn, get a fucking job at a studio, or when we reopen our place, get a job, as an intern at our place, whatever. So again, NLE Choppa, I'm pretty sure it's just as simple as calling his engineer up. I'm sure he'd tell me the truth, but DaBaby, like I said, I can tell you down to a T what his vocal chain is. However, it's going to be different for your artist. Every single one of them is going to be completely different. Also, what microphone did he use? Did he use a Telefunken 251? Because that makes a difference. So anyway, let's go on here.
Now tell me, when you look in the mirror, what is it that you see? Your mind is running from your fear, running from your self-doubt, running from depression, running from your past. Well, what if I told you to start running towards these problems and conquer them by unlocking potential, using the potential to create better character traits, which will ultimately teach you to become a better person, building confidence, telling yourself that you are an amazing person, becoming a better individual today than you were yesterday. So I encourage you to keep running towards these hardships.
Now, this entire intro I bitched about earlier, but this is the intro. Panning, high-endy voice, none of that holds true here. You do whatever the hell you want to do here. Nothing's getting interfered with.
Just keep running. I keep running. I'm going full speed, and I can't stop even if my feet bleed. Running to the path that I chose so fast as it goes down a never-ending road. Running, trying to get away. Running, trying to see another day. Running, I'm going crazy in my mind. Why do I feel like I'm running out of time? Yeah, my brain's running like a track meet. I try my best to let my past move past me. I'm so attached to the strings of this rap. Life is a chess game and I win every match.
Now this one has, this whole song has a little bit different quality about it. I'm trying to pick it out. Like the vocals here sound like they're sitting on a, they're buried in a two-track, to be honest with you, like a poorly produced two-track. I might be wrong.
Crawling up the stairs, door shuts in your face. This path to success leaves the ugliest taste. I'm done with this race, been a long time coming. Why? Cause I never stop running. I'm going full speed, and I can't stop even if my feet bleed. Running to the path that I chose so fast as it goes down a never-ending road. Running, trying to get away. Running, trying to see another day. Running, I'm going crazy.
The delays on the running are hokey, but they're perfect.
The clock's running out of time, but I'm clutch with the pen geared up for the win. You got a crutch for a pen handicap.
They're just supposed to be there, man.
Like guys, so it sucks to be them. Maybe how I'm getting down on the song will be the reason that I stand up tall on this mountain alone. Look around, yeah, I'm finally home. I put my best foot forward, no time to sit down on the throne. I keep running, yeah, I'm running out of patience. The look on their faces, I stumble into greatness. The sign of a goat is the strength of his pages. Double down on myself, yeah, I'm taking all wages. It's outrageous, the love I give right back. The finish line in my path, and just like that, I'm with it and my vision's getting blurry. The fast lanes got me living in a hurry.
Man, got my subs moving in
now
here.
I'm running out of breath. You can make it just a couple more steps. It seems bleak, know your legs feel weak. It's safe to say you made it off the streets.
My assistant's gonna come in here and she's probably gonna sit on my woofers.
Then you gave me the strength that was needed. Second wind got me feeling like pocket. If you believe, then you
Sorry
can
about
achieve.
that.
Just look at me, a white boy from the projects. My father was that light pole, try to digest. Me walking down the road at 12 years old, heart feeling nice
Sweet
cold. Thinking, how can I
transition,
survive
brother.
this? Below freezing, I'm not dreaming. I look overseas, trying to get steamy. Somebody doing laundry overnight, whatever reason. I just know I'm not leaving. Cause it's freezing, feeling numbed up. My eyes are looking really down as it sums up. Everybody out here looking for a come up, while I'm over here thanking God for the sun when it comes up. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. The hardest thing to becoming the best version of yourself is facing and defeating your problems. I'm never running again.
Hell no!
What the hell? What the hell?
Oh, you knew I was gonna get that. Damn iTunes, man. This thing hates me. Again, man, it was a great song. Okay, the panning in the high end thing. Seriously, Phathead. Talk to your engineer, man. There was no reason to do it. You had great vocals. There was no reason to do anything hokey. You know, all of a sudden somebody just went, you know, bedroom engineering. I don't know why, or outhouse engineering. No reason to do it. Everything was great, other than, again, it sounded like a 2-track. I'm gonna be honest. It sounded like a 2-track because there was a weird thing happening. Like, where do we put Phathead's vocal? That could have been just the mixing. Not sure where to put it in a hurry, running out of studio time. There's a lot of things that causes that. Didn't do it in a studio. I don't know. There's a lot of things that happen. Now, the panning and stuff, didn't need it. Just right down the center, perfect vocal. Your vocals naturally stand out, demand attention. By all means, just use them. Hopefully on your new album, which I hear is coming up. I don't know if I'm supposed to say anything, but you got something going. I'm waiting for it. Probably won't let me review it, but I might do it anyway. I'll just buy it on freaking iTunes and review it. But it's yeah, man, just right down the center and just say what the hell you got on your mind. You know, that's what I would do. So for me, you know, that's another thing. If you decide to start doing any Atmos mixes, this is going to, you know, honestly, I don't even understand Super Chat, brother. This is all new to me. So I wish YouTube. I had dozens and dozens of people say you got to go to YouTube because YouTube kicks ass. And also we have some friends, which are Fletcher and Vic, that are Spank and Vic, that are on the hell's their thing? Country Rap Report. I don't know why I said what the hell. Country Rap Report. They're on YouTube, and we thought it'd be a nice change for us to be around them, which is how we found Phathead. And thank goodness. And thank goodness. But yeah, man. Anyway, so let's go to the next one. So.
This the realest shit I ever wrote or ever spoke. God strike me on this microphone until I turn a cloud of smoke. Feels like I'm going upstream on a paddle boat, trying to stay above the float, knowing that my paddle's broke. Guess that's just how it goes. What's me without a flow? I suppose just a homeless kid that's walking down the road. If you never had a dream, when would you decide to grow? I'm just crying for this song, speaking for the average Joe. People thinking life's a game, living for the pass and go. Mama's diagnosed with AIDS, so I know she's dying slow. She continued doing drugs, wonder why her heart is froze. She lost her battle, Lord, take care of her precious soul. Things that she would never show, put her life against the clock. When it came to music, mama told her son to never stop. Even when my CD drops, I'll be comfy on the bottom. Tell the world to call me when they figure out the problem. You gotta feel me now, and they gon' try to take us down, but we stand tall in our feet and solid to the ground. You gotta feel me now, I know the world can hear me now. You gotta feel me now, I know the world can hear me now. Don't need to spell it out.
Thank you, Third Rock. I appreciate that.
All around, they know what it's about. Once was lost, but now found. You gotta feel me now, I know the world can hear me now. You gotta feel me now, I know the world can hear me now.
Man, those are
in my
tight.
thoughts, I don't need the support. So where the hell was daddy at when I was asleep on the porch? And while I sleep on the porch, I would wake up in the room to these people looking at me. Nobody's really happy. It's to the sternum this time it's crazy how it goes deep. I realize I'm living on a heart that has no beat. No love, no house, and no heat on these cold streets. No bed with no sheets and many nights with no sleep. I can't breathe cause I'm in this game nose deep. Tupac poetry, I'm a
Brother, you
rose
need to
breaking
give,
concrete.
you need to give young artists a lesson on how to rap in time
not to see my kid live in this hell.
and how to
Like
determine
my
if you're
pops
not
20
rapping in
years
time.
prison. Freedom
That
was
seems to be a
given,
really
but
big
cancer
issue.
would keep him from living. Then I had a vision, just keep the flame burning inside, baby.
And how to
be the
teach
best
their
father for
friends
my J-Lane. You
to stop
gotta
lying
feel
and
me
telling
now.
their
And they gon' try to
rapper
take us
friends,
down, but we stand
buddies,
tall in our
that
feet,
they're
solid to the ground.
not rapping in
Feel me
time.
now.
Does that make
I
it?
know the world can hear me now. You gotta feel me now.
Don't lie to
I
your
know
buddies,
the world
man.
can hear me now.
Don't lie to your
Need
friends.
spell it out.
They can't rap in
Music
time,
notes
just say
all
something.
around. They know what it's about. Once was lost, but now found. Gotta feel me now. I know the world can hear me now. Gotta feel me now. I know the world can hear me now. I'm cursed. I'd rather rap than ever have to dump a pack. So I'm asking the world, please don't rewind this track. And for that, I can never ever get my conscience back. I'm a piece of shit because I sold my own mama crack. For the love of money, I let it burn by the stacks. I do anything to give my mama that $20 back. But I can't, which means I'm destined to lose. Spring a marathon, you couldn't walk a step in my shoes. Cause Phathead is
man.
better than news.
That is harsh,
North,
heavy.
east, west, and the south, I'm ahead of these fools. So when I'm sleeping, I'm dreaming a million out of the gate. And then I wake up to a world full of jealous and hate. It's like I'm running for a dream, a million miles in this race. With a million more miles to chase. I used to wanna grab the pistol, cock it back, and take me out of this place. Instead, I put a fucking smile on my face. You gotta feel me. You gotta feel me now. And they gon' try to take us down, but we stand tall in our feet and solid to the ground. You gotta feel me now. I know the world can hear me now. You gotta feel me now. I know the world can hear me now. Don't
Good
need to spell
chant,
it out.
man.
Music
People
notes
remember this
all
kind of
around.
stuff,
They know
man.
what it's about.
You perform
Once was
live,
lost,
people will
but now
remember this.
found. Gotta feel me now. I know the world can hear me now. Gotta feel me now. I know the world can hear me
Creepy ass
now. Hear
music,
me now. Never show the world when you're frustrated. If you always keep a smile on your face, the world will never know your weaknesses.
Man, that was a good. That was a freaking good production call on that snare, man. That was absolutely perfect. You could hear the snares. The bottom of the snare, the top of the snare had a really nice attack to it. Little things like that, guys. I'm telling you, little things like that are the things that'll put a song in the charts. All those little bitty things, like maybe making a snare have an accent just in the chorus, or maybe doubling up or adding a second snare in the bridge of the song. All those things add up. Now, when you hire in a high-end engineer, these are the kind of things he thinks about. Or an engineer that really pays attention to what he really pays attention, and not just because he's trying to become a legend himself, but because he's working for you guys. So what you need to find is an engineer or a mastering engineer or somebody that's producing for you that is working for you. You hear people all the time talk about, man, I'm working with you, or we're going to work together. No, man, you find a guy that is working for you, okay? All he's thinking about is getting you a hit record, man. Anything that comes after that is great because he's going to give you the credit. If he walks up on stage and gets a platinum record, you don't think he's going to thank you or tell everyone what you did for him? So all you got to do is get him that hit or make him $1 million because he's going to take care of you. That's our mindset. All I want to do and all my people want to do is make you happy. We want to make sure you're taken care of. So those are the kind of people you need to work with. somebody that's going to think of all those little things. He's going to see your background vocals, and he's just going to tap it over just a little bit to make sure it's in perfect time. Or he's going to put it in auto-tune, even though, man, I don't want to use auto-tune. At some point in time, you got to leave the studio, right? He's going to drop that thing in Melodyne or whatever he's going to use. He's going to just move that one note, just that one note to make it perfect, because everything on the radio, man, is perfect. Something made it perfect. I'll say that over and over and over again. So, Third Rock, man, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I try. You know, I'll give it a shot. Sometimes I miss it, but, you know, I started listening to music a couple of weeks ago, and I started digging it, so I decided to do this. So I bought a microphone and got a pen. I bought a pen. So, and headphones. So let's see here. Another good one. That one, man, the timing was impeccable. I don't think the engineer did everything. I think that because based on the other songs, man, there's very few times that the vocals are a little here or a little there at a time, and it's usually a start or an end piece. And it's not that big of a deal. But now that I said something, Phathead's going to be listening and going, damn, maybe you need to tap that over. That's not true. You know, shit just gets better and better, man. That's what's going to happen. It just gets better and better. I can't even imagine. Honestly, this is like an introduction to the new Phathead music, or the new Phathead idea, and what's going on in his mind and how he's approaching the industry now. So the next album is going to be unbelievable. I already know that's going to happen, because that's the way things progress. As musicians, that's what we do. We make bigger and better, always. Always do bigger and better, man. So now, the one thing about, again, the lyrics and the way Phathead raps, and I don't know if I've ever brought this up to him, but he raps a lot on the bottom of the beat. Now, you'll hear that a lot in the industry, and I'm sure some of you guys, especially some of the engineers and the producers, have probably heard that term before. So, you know, there's a lot of swing, you know, 1, 2, 3. There's a lot happening there before the beat and before the next beat. There's a lot going on there. And some artists have like a vibe, a very specific vibe. It's almost like a swing to it. And Phathead has a tendency to rap with that swing. It's laid back, and it draws you into the music. It's like it's constantly pulling you. And the way that happens is he's rapping at the bottom of the beat, or the bottom of the swing of the beat. And you'll hear that with a lot of old school rappers. You don't hear that as much with newer artists, okay? Now, there are some, don't get me wrong, there are some newer artists that do that. I'm not going to go into detail about names. So, I am. I'm reading it when I can. I'm slightly blind, so I couldn't find my glasses, so I'm wearing my wife's. Should I have said that? I don't know. I have a tendency to say what's on my mind, which gets me in trouble sometimes. I'll also take my pants off at random when I'm out in public. So yeah, I'm trying to. So yeah. We do live classes. I'll do like mixing and mastering classes, and we do question and answer. So no matter, I'll stop right in the middle of what I'm doing, and we'll sit and go over whatever you need. It doesn't matter what it is, or even if you say, "Hey Bob, I like that reverb. How did you get it?" Or, "Hey, I've been trying to figure out how to do this effect." Then I'll stop what I'm doing, and I'll make the preset and send it to you. You know, this whole thing is about helping other people, man. We've been doing this for so long now that we're good. We're okay. We good. So anything that we can do to help you out when we're doing these things, we'll do it. So if you sign up for our newsletter or check out our website, you'll see when we're going to be doing our live shows. I'm going to be doing them now on YouTube. We always did them in private on Discord, and I ain't saying nothing. but some of the old people couldn't figure out the Twitch or the Discord. Okay? So we're going to be doing here on YouTube. But like I said, man, whatever you need, all you got to do is ask. And everything I say, the majority of it's just an opinion. Okay, so I appreciate you if you go, hey, I'm not sure about that. Let me question you, or I think it'd be better if we did it this way. I love that because I learn things every day, man. I'm 56 years old, and every single day I learn brand new things. My son is an amazing engineer, far better than I am, and he's 30 years old already and making a huge name for himself, doing the same thing I do. Fixing things is what we call it, fixing stuff. And I learn stuff from him all the time. You'll never quit learning. So yeah, if just check the website out, which is above me here. Almost pointed at Phathead. And there's always something. Also, you can sign up for our SMS messages. I rarely send those out unless I got really something important to say. And our email newsletter, which goes out once a week. Yeah, he does. There's, I was going to name some names, and I probably shouldn't, because we also mix for other engineers too. When other engineers get behind on their work, we have a really cool, well, I'm trying to think how to say it. We mix for other engineers. I guess that's the best way to say it. So when they need some help, we can fill in to make sure they get finished on time. They just check the work, and then we go from there. Or we might edit their session. So we have an opportunity to see a lot of people's vocal chains and check out their samples and stuff. By the way, my entire collection of samples that I've accumulated since 1990 is available for free. So if you ever need any drum samples or anything, man, they're there. Yeah, when I heard Phathead for the very first time, man, a vocal chain popped right into my head. Everything from the microphone to the EQ settings to my compressors, how I would use my analog gear, everything, man. I just, that's me being an old guy. So, unfortunately, I don't know. Unfortunately, that's the way I am. Now, let's see, where were we? Okay, we're on The Crown. Now, this is a song, man, I tell you. This is one of the songs that I couldn't get out of my head. Even though I heard it, I've only heard it a couple of times that I actually paid attention to it. And I can almost sing this song, or I know the lyrics to this one from front to back. That's it's how it stood out to me so well. So let's get into this one.
They say the crown is fitted for the chosen one. I grew up as a loaded gun. I had to wait to understand the weight that I would overcome. A lot of rappers came and went, molded from the same cement. Corrupted in the brain, anything to be the main event.
Absolutely a perfect music to vocal mix. Absolutely perfect.
Empires crumble, then my family divide. Jelly said he knew a guy whose whole family died. So I walk up to the mirror and look that man in the eyes, trying to cope with sanity. I was damaged inside. If that line wasn't meant for me, it wouldn't even matter, cause it never understand what them bars did for me. I represent the crown of thorns, not the golden filigree. The world's gonna feel it when I finish up the trilogy. Facing my humility, my ego had been put to sleep. I was thankful that I beat the system and withstood the streets.
Heavy is the head who wears the crown. And we all get lost along the way somehow. The weight on my shoulders can't keep me down. Heavy is the head who wears the crown.
Now fast forward to the current times, my family is stabilized. Wipe the dust off the pen and pad, I'm feeling energized. Now they see me waving high, earth, it's time to say goodbye. My words never needed wings, I work to make the pages fly. Here by the grace of God, spitting every lasting breath. Fire in the booth, I walk out and there's ashes left. I be writing golden bars, go to war with sound. It takes more than emoji flames, you tryna forge a crown. I strike to make the iron hot, know the boy gets down. Embedded to the streets, I never walk around on royal ground. How's that for literature? Music notes position up. They call me Phathead, so the crown isn't big enough.
Heavy is the head who wears the crown. And we all get lost along the way somehow. Weight on my shoulders can't keep me down. Heavy is the head who wears the crown.
I wake up every morning like I'm living a dream. The crown is fit for a king, but it's just not fitting for me. Things I couldn't achieve is cause I didn't believe. But that's the vibe when you live on the streets. So I taught myself to fight and claw. The difference between flight and fall. I ain't sitting on the bitch, know I earned my right to ball. So y'all can waste your time on discussing who's the GOAT. I'd break it down to pieces and give the crown to the music notes.
Heavy is the head who wears the crown. And we all get lost along the way somehow. Weight on my shoulders can't keep me down. Heavy is the head who wears the crown.
Oh, I shouldn't have done the horn, man. Kind of took the vibe away. We're coming back to this one. Okay, Catch a Vibe, and this one is featuring Big Lazy. So, I haven't been telling the features, man, but you guys know. You guys have heard this album probably a million times. I'm the one that hadn't been able to listen. It's driving me crazy. Okay, so here we go, man. Hey guys, also thank you so much for coming in and watching the show. This is our new home. No more Facebook. No more. Well, we're on Twitter, thank God, since Elon Musk took it over. We do some little here's and there's on TikTok, just little industry talks to fill you in on what's going on and what to avoid and who to avoid, actually, more than anything else. But I'm digging this YouTubey thing. So. Also, for if you really want to get your feelings hurt, you could always submit your videos to Country Rap Report. You can find the guys at Riding Dirty TV here on industry or here on YouTube. Spank and Vic XL can man, I tell you, if you're brave, I'll give you that. You're brave if you submit to them because they do not hold back. Positively. Those guys have been in the industry for freaking ever, man. They've been in the industry since Christ was a corporal, chewing tobacco and riding a pickup truck. I'm telling you, man. And they definitely have the thing to submit your music to. You can find them at countryrapreport.com. You can also find their links on our website. We love the guys to death. They're the ones that are setting the standard for country rap video reviews, and we do appreciate them sending the people that they have to us. It's awful cool of them to do this, and we've had a huge number of people submit music for review here, but we've been away for quite a while, and you're stuck with me now instead of me and Dee, unfortunately. And don't forget too, you can also on our website, you can submit your music for review. It's 100% free. We don't, you don't have to pay a dime. You just have to be able to put up with me during the review. I can be long-winded sometimes, but I try to be as detailed as I possibly can. I do answer questions during the shows, and we try to run about an hour, 2 hours, no longer, because my wife goes to sleep early. So you can also submit other people's music if you would like us to review their material. So if you're curious about how something was done or how to avoid something next time or whatever, then you can submit that as well. It's always a good idea to let us know. I would also appreciate you letting us know the engineer that mixed it or the mastering engineer, because, man, I have really hurt some friends of mine's feelings sometimes. So I'd rather be able to contact them first and go, dude, I'm fixing to tear your ass up, to be honest with you. Okay, so this one's Catch a Vibe.
Ice cold dopey.
Wait a minute.
Hell no!
What the hell? What the hell?
No tags in the music, brother. No tags. No tags. I hadn't said it before, but no tags. $100% free, brother.
I feel that music in my soul. And deep inside I know this life is gonna be alright. Cause people come and people go. I paint my road with music notes and keep on dancing to that song called life. Come and catch a vibe. Kids in the yard with the water hose, barbecuing on the grill, adults playing dominoes. It feels good. I miss the days it was simple, no pressure from life. Old heads giving young kids extra advice. Everybody's got the uncle getting lit by the cooler, or a cousin from the pen chopping up with his friends. I remember when
I was down in dumps, no place to go. Stuck on the streets, I was on my own.
But I knew that
Brother, I have mixed in my career hundreds of songs like this. I love this music. Like a triplet.
A new day, count it as a blessing from God. All I know is hard work and be the best on the job. Life lessons are hard, but just listen to me. It's not failure, but more about successful you can be. There's plenty levels to achieve. You don't need a social platform to have God instant messaging you peace. Now who's real? The ones that signed a huge deal, or maybe the artist trying to gather a loose meal, or it's both. The difference between peasants and the goat, there's no difference. We're all just trying to live within the scope of our perception. The ones that struggle with self-reflection just move like a boss, creating your own direction. Oh, I know. I feel that music in my soul. And deep inside I know this life is gonna be alright. Cause people come and people go. I paint my road with music notes and keep on dancing to that song called life. This was a walkthrough of words that I talked to.
Missing a guitar in the hook. I'll show you.
Keep trying to set the bar and I'll continue beats pressing, no sweating. I'm back from a 10-year break. I'll show them how to move in the garden full of snakes, cause I'm great. How that boy
Maybe I
on
won't.
the top. They call me Hova on the court, the way I handle the rock. I'm on that wrecking ball flow, I dismantle the block. They keep trying to hold the boy, but them handles is hot. It's too hot to hold, too much for the average. So catch a vibe while I continue dropping classics.
I feel that music in my soul.
Gotta come up. Less compression. Gotta hear those dynamics, man, because it sounds like he's moving on his mic like he's supposed to.
This life's gonna be alright. Keep on dancing to that song called
I am going to DJ horn that bitch. Good Lord, man. Okay, I said it during the thingy Madougal. Still vocalist, man. You gotta he's got to be less compressed because it feels like because of the way the timbre of his voice, he's moving on the microphone. So just let him do it. He's got his shit together. So what you want to do though is let him. You want to let him be able to expand and contract as far as the his dynamics go. Now, again, it's not easy. It really isn't. I mean, here's just a little bit of information, man. I've probably, and I was talking to Fletcher about this, Fletcher Batts, not too long ago, and me and my wife are kind of screwing around, and I mean, not like that. I'm old. We don't do that. At this point in my life, right in the middle of it, I just wander off. So go look for ice cream, literally, I've probably worked on 50,000 items in my career. Now, people go, "Oh my God, 50,000 artists." I didn't say that. I said 50,000 items. Okay. So that might mean somebody sending a song to me and say, "Hey, Bob, can you replace a snare? Bob, can you do this? Bob, can you do that?" Okay, so, well, I'm sure it's well over 50,000. So, I've had an opportunity in some of those to work with some absolutely outstanding gospel singers. Everything from 2-track. And I'm talking about somebody coming in and having to record them live, either in a church or in a studio, and literally just using a tape machine with 2 tracks, all the way to 4-track to 8-track, all the way up to until we get to the DAW. Okay, so I have an idea. Okay, I have an idea of how this can be done, and it's just slight compression until he really hits it. Then you grab it. So I like to do the majority of that with some type of, like an 1176 style compressor. Okay, so the LA2A is just kind of grabbing just a little bit of it, then that 1176. Now, okay, once you get into the DAW, there's a lot of different compressors that can do the job a little better. I'm always talking about externally because we compress and EQ going into our analog equipment, okay? Not that we have analog equipment. I won't go through that again, letting anybody know that. But you want it to be able to come through like you're sitting in the room with this guy. So when he belts it out, it's like you can go, "Oh, man, I can feel that in my heart," And so you don't want anything to grab him. That's easy to achieve, though, because you're there. You've just got to be able to pull him back a little bit and let him do some of the work. That's all. Just let him do some of the work. And if you're sitting in a studio and you, like my son had the hardest time learning that because his initial thoughts were just to compress him hard. And that way he didn't have to worry about doing all the automation and the compressors and everything. Because then after we do all the compression and we've got all the little tiny bits of compression there, we still go in and automate the vocals. Because, in the old days we used to ride the vocals with the fader. We're doing that no more, okay? So we still go in and we smooth everything out with automation. We don't use no vocal rider thing or none of that shit. We actually go in and automate the pieces. Something like this is a must. Now, we do automate the vocals, or we do automate all vocals, okay? Regardless, every vocal that comes through here or any session that I work on and edit, the vocals are always automated. So I'm just going to toss that out there. So you're looking for $5,000 mixes, they're all done like that, okay? Do you want to do them? I don't know. I don't like doing them. I don't know if you like doing them. I don't like automating vocals, but I like cashing checks. So, and it does make a difference, okay? So this guy needs all of that extra time. It's just like Phathead, you know, he has a fairly consistent vocal which works well with heavy compression. Now, what would happen though if you let Phathead open up just a little bit? Give him a little bit more dynamics, but let the mastering engineer grab him the tiniest little bit at his end so he could determine, or maybe let the mastering engineer stem master the work. So then he can kind of control how much he wants to grab the lead vocal. So clip gain, I think clip gain's fine. I just, the thing is you have to cut something up so much to be able to utilize clip gain the best way, that you're talking about ass loads of tiny little cuts. Like in one phrase, like let's say he went music is my soul. Let's see, there could be 6 cuts there. Okay, so I would probably automate that. Yeah, that would be 6 cuts for me. So it would be easier for me just to take the fader, put it on right, and then ride that, and then look at the next one. Now, if the engineer just cut and pasted everything, I could just cut and paste that. So, so to me, instead of making all those cuts, now, you know, sometimes I do use clip gain. Just don't tell anyone. Okay, but when I've really got to get in there and do some serious editing, then I'm not going to do it. So if like on a single word, if I have to make like, you know, 3 cuts, it's not going to be clip gain. I'm just going to automate it. So, and again, automating sucks. You know, it really does. It's time consuming. I think I did a vocal the other day, and it took me 3 hours to do it. I was going to say because I messed up a couple of times, but I didn't want to let anybody know that, so I'm not going to say it. I'm not a big fan of VCA faders. When I quit mixing on an SSL, I swore to God I'd never use a VCA again. So sometimes I'll add a bunch of them because it looks cool when they move on the console, if I'm using a real console. But that's about it. I try to make everything move. If I'm using an automated console, even if I only got like 6 tracks and I'm on a 72 or a 96 channel console, I just make everything move at random. Looks cool as fuck, doesn't it? So, you know, most rap music that I mix has, I don't know, 16 tracks at the most. So that's why I don't even mix anymore. But, yeah, always try to make as many lights flash and as many things move as you possibly can, because you can usually charge extra for that. So that's a tip. No, I just and I tell you something else too. Like I'll set up a bus, and I'll automate the main channel and then send it over to. Oh man, I'll do a class, and I'll show you how I actually really use a VCA and how I really use the channel automation and everything. And I do it like everybody that makes really good money doing mixing and such. We do it all kind of the same way, sort of. Not that I make good money. I mean, I learn really cool tricks and then don't do them, or tell people that I do them for a really good reason. I just do them because I see other people doing it, or I ask people. I have no problem calling up an engineer and saying, hey, how should I do this? And they'll tell me. Like Don Ziglione, you know, from on Twitch. He's got some great things. So, lots of lights, brother. I'm telling you. Lots of lights. If you can get stuff to make, you know, what would I grade the album compared to industry sound? Man, that's a hard question, man. because people have a they don't. It's hard to let people understand my reasoning behind something. If I'm talking about let's talk about current standards. Okay, now I'm not going to play the outro because we know it's 30 seconds long and we know the outro. You know how my feelings on the outro. So now I'm going to go back and we're going to talk about 2 songs, and then I'm going to let you guys get out of here because my wife's got a conference call she's got to get to. I could spend a week on this album going into detail, man, because it's such a good production quality. I'm going to be honest, Phathead. I have to be honest, man. Not only for religious reasons, but because I feel that if you lie to somebody and they're never going to be able to achieve what they're trying to do, okay? Because you have a lot of yes men, and you're going to end up with more people that, and I talked to you about this. When you have people that shouldn't be in the industry, they're just in the way of people that are trying to accomplish something and they are supposed to be in the industry. So it's like you trying to get to the bathroom, okay? You got to go. You know you got to go because you got someplace else you got to be, and it's an important place you got to be, but you got to get to that bathroom. Well, when you walk into the room, there's people scattered everywhere that's already been to the bathroom. They ain't no hurry. They just laying everywhere, man. So you got to work your way around them and do whatever you got to do. Some of them are moving. They see you coming and they're getting in your way, whatever. So it's going to take you forever. So what do? Maybe you give up on you either have to take forever and you miss that important thing you were supposed to do, or maybe you just give up the bathroom and you try to get to your meeting and it don't work for you, because you didn't make it. Well, what I don't like seeing are those people in that floor or people standing in your way that don't need to be there. Okay, so I have no tolerance at all for those people. So if you're not trying to develop your craft and you're not trying to better yourself as an artist, an engineer, a producer, a mastering engineer, whatever, then go. Just go away. And I don't encourage those people in the least little bit. So I try to be as honest as I can, and I have made some serious enemies doing this. I don't care how big they are. I've given some crappy reviews to some of the biggest artists in the country rap field, in pop, all kinds of places. But I just try to be honest. They can't turn out hits all the time, or sometimes they release an album, and because they've got a ton of fanboys, they'll let everything slip by. But they only make it in charts that they want to chart in, or charts that are pretty much pretend charts, okay? Billboard is the place. So, there are actually real charts, and then there's the pretend charts that people want to get into. So, you guys that are doing this and turning out good music, don't tolerate the people that are just going to get in your way and your artist way. Okay? They just be that way, guys. It's terrible to say, but you'll know when somebody is taking up space or breathing valuable air. So maybe you're being a little conceited, or maybe you're having a little bit more of an attitude, but you guys know when you're good at something. Maybe you're not a good engineer, but you can track the fuck out of some vocals, right? Or maybe engineering's not your thing, but you damn sure know how to master a song. Okay? So, master music. We still master music. Not computers don't master number one hit records. People master number one hit records. Okay? So that's so remember those things. So when I review something and somebody asks me, "What do you think about my music?" Well, you're going to get it. Okay? And again, a lot of people don't like me for that. That's why I kind of come and go sometimes. So, but that also might be the reason that Fletcher refers people to me on occasion. So, what do I think about this album overall? If I was using a number like 10 to talk about, let's say, Drake's album, okay, or any of his music over the last 5 years, I would give Drake's albums probably a 9, because there are albums out there that would definitely score 10s as far as how they were marketed, what they meant to the community, the music community, and to the situation at a particular point in history. There's a lot of things like that, and that's rare. Okay, some of the, I feel personally that I might have worked on some of those. I work regularly. I probably work on 6 and 7s, so fairly steady. I'll work on a 6 and a 7 album, and it could be anything. Like I've said before, it might be simply fixing a snare drum, or maybe correcting a vocal, or singing on something that nobody knew an old fat guy did in Macon, Georgia. So on this album, I think I'm going to give it overall, I think I'm going to give it a 5, which is extremely high. Now, for this style of music, and I think there's some places here. There's 2 songs on this album that are easily could be 7s, just on their own. And that is saying an unbelievable number. Okay, considering some of the people that are out on the market right now, and they have some serious flaws, even though they have these huge followings. There's some severe flaws in their production and the quality of their, personality, some of them, that will guarantee them not to become successful in the pop or pop country market, whereas they've got to be. People with open minds and willing to change and willing to do better are the ones that are going to drive this industry and actually make something out of this genre. So starting with a 5 is extremely good for this genre. So a 1 is, I wish I could go into the negative numbers because I hear those all the time. There's an artist that I can name right now that's got a huge fan base that really probably shouldn't have a number based on his producer, the engineer, and everything else involved. So if some of these issues would have been corrected, some of the little things, then you would have easily moved up into a 6, heading into a 7. These 2 songs I'm getting ready to get into, and I can't spend a lot of time on it, I gotta go real quick. Some of these things that I'm getting ready to go into would have moved the entire album up to a 7, I believe, because we have the possibility here of getting something, one, it guaranteed to make it into the Hot 100, maybe the top 50, maybe into the top 100, and I would bet my career on it, to be honest with you. I'd just retire if it couldn't happen, if there were changes made to it. So, and there was the right amount of marketing. Now, marketing has everything to do with this. So, some of my favorite albums are 5s and 6s, to be honest with you. Some of the best albums I've ever worked on were 5s and 6s. Most of those people absolutely despise me because either they didn't listen to me or they owe me money. I never understood why when people owe you money, they dislike you. I don't understand that, but okay. So Dina will, she'd probably get after me. She said, I can't believe you don't ever give anybody a 5. It's like, well, because I like the fucking album. If I like the fucking album, I like the fucking album, okay? Let's go, no, man, Third Rock you are. So Phathead, man, you got half of a #1 charted album, and that's give you here's an example. One of my favorite bands of all time are the Police, and Synchronicity maybe a 6. I might have given them a 6. Slipknot rides in about a 6 for me, and Slipknot is my all-time favorite band ever. Even though I mix 90% rap music or work on 90% rap music, 6 for Slipknot, and it's mostly their older stuff. Their new stuff is weird. The Rick Rubin thing, that should be buried. I'm just saying. Okay, now let's go back and let's take a listen to something. And I'm going to let you know. We skipped over one. Okay, and let's do this. Okay, first thing that we got to get rid of that slight intro there. It's got to come in directly
they
on
say
the beat.
The crown is fitted for the chosen one. I grew up as a loaded gun. I had to wait to understand the weight that I would
Beautiful way you're
overcome.
coming in under the verses.
From the same cement.
So you're finishing the verse and then you're coming in with the next line. That's a sign of a professional. The way the vocals are tracked.
I seen empires crumble, then my family divide. Jelly said he knew a guy whose whole family died. So I walk up to the mirror and look that man in the eyes.
Now, I'm telling you now, based on what I've done in my career and all these years, these aren't. I'm going to be conceited, and I'm telling you, these are gatas. Okay, this is me wanting you to be able to break a song into a chart. Okay, these are just production calls. So if I was sitting in the studio with you, this is like, okay, if you don't do this, I'm taking my toys and I'm going home. So there, take that. Okay. Now, your vocal's harsh. On this particular song, to be able to break it into a different market, the vocal needs to be less growly, and it needs to be a lot smoother. That is very, very easy to accomplish. First off, you have to realize mentally where this song is going. So the minute you know that, your vocal's going to change automatically. Okay, so I'm still looking at the fucking light. Okay, so that light. Okay, so the minute we start talking about, your producer says, okay, we're going in a different direction now. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get you mainstream. Listen to this artist and listen to that artist. See how really smooth that is? I want you to put the amount of emotion you're going to get into this, but I don't want you to be like holding back or being able to try to feel like you're tensing up or anything. I want you to be very, very calm and relaxed. Your vocal automatically is going to convey that, okay? Now, mixing it is going to be a completely different story also. Now we're not going to heavily compress your vocal. We're going to pull you back away from the mic a little bit, but we're going to use a good mic. We're probably going to use something, a large diaphragm condenser, something a little pricey because, that's the only thing I can think of right now. I would hear something like a C12, but I would use a 251 because I have a 251. So a Telefunken. I don't have a C12, but I think it's the same thing. It's got some high end in it, so it's a little tinny to start with, but I would also add some coming into the microphone, tiny bit of compression, but we're getting rid of that grit that's in the mid-range. Okay, so that's where we're going to start with this. But see, we're doing something different. Okay, we're doing something different. Now that has nothing to do with this track sitting in here. Everything that was done is perfect on this. We're just making a change to try to get it into a different, taking it to a different place. That's all.
Was sanity, I was damaged inside. If that line wasn't meant for me, it wouldn't even matter, cause it never understand what them bars did for me. I represent the crown of thorns, not the golden filigree. The world's gonna feel it when I finish up the trilogy. Facing my humility, my ego had been put to sleep. I was thankful that I beat the system and withstood the streets.
Heavy is the head who wears the crown.
Beautiful delay on those vocals. Perfect. Only thing about the vocals is for some reason they're like in the other room or something. I don't know what happened. Everything was going really well, then all of a sudden the vocals got tucked way back. I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but they do need to come up, and they need to be very, very upfront. So it feels like the EQ and everything is perfect on them. However, they do need to have a little bit more depth and fullness. Now, there's a trick. There needs to be a there's a trick you can use where you use like a 3-stage reverb, where you use 3 separate reverbs, and then you use a delay to complement that. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, whoever mixed it. But that's a really nice trick to use, like on the lead vocal and the background vocal. The only difference on the background vocal, or that particular part of the lead vocal, is because obviously you're treating it like a lead vocal as well, is you would add a little bit more to it, so the whole thing would go up. You'd turn all the reverbs up on their auxiliaries, so they'd come up a little bit. So it would be just, it'd be a little bit more prominent, but that vocal's got to come up just a little. Beautiful snare drum again. Great space on the guitars. Again, man, that's a great vocal sound on those back or that.
Now
chorus.
fast forward to the current times. My family is stabilized. Wipe the dust off the pen and pad. I'm feeling energized. Now they see me waving high. Earth, it's time to say goodbye. My words never needed wings. I work to make the pages fly. Here by the grace of God, spitting every lasting breath. Fire in the booth. I walk out and there's ashes left. I be writing golden bars. Go to war with sound. It takes more than emoji flames. You trying to forge a crown. I strike to make the iron hot. Know the boy gets down. Embedded to the streets. I never walk around on royal ground. How's that for literature? Music knows position up. They call me Phathead, so the crown isn't big enough.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown. And we all get lost along the way somehow. Weight on my shoulders can't keep me down. Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
I wake up every morning like I'm living a dream. The crown is fit for a king, but
Now, I don't know how much the engineer actually automates stuff, but the guitars during the verses should come down a little bit more. Even though they are playing a different part, they still should come down just a tiny little bit. During the chorus, obviously they could come up, but I would also automate the snare drum down a tiny little bit and then make sure that it comes back up, because it's in the perfect position at this point in the song for the chorus. You could even add another snare drum underneath it to give it a little bit more balls, because it's got a beautiful, you picked out an amazing snare drum, there's no doubt about that. But you could put something like even a heavy hand clap. Now, not a normal hand clap, but a tucked way back though. Okay, something that doesn't have a lot of transients, but would be mostly just, you know, the transients filtered out and just has kind of some body behind it. All this is going to do is fatten up the sound a little bit. It's just going to make things bigger. So when that chorus comes in, it's going to make it feel like it's something's happening. It's building up. Now, you still have to give it space, though, because we're not at the end of the song. Now, at the end of the song, all of that's going to come up. It's going to get a little bit louder. Not all the instruments, but some of the things that drive the song are going to get a little bit louder. Kick drum, the snare drum, the bottom end, those things are still going to come up a little bit more. And that's going to be at the end of the song as it's fading out, because there's also a good fade at the end that I'll go into.
but it's just not fitting for me. Things I couldn't achieve is cause I didn't believe. But that's the vibe when you live on the streets. So I taught myself to fight and claw, the difference between flight and fall. I ain't sitting on the bitch, know I earned my right to ball. So y'all can waste your time on discussing who's the GOAT. I'd break it down to pieces and give the crown to the music notes.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
This is where it would just change a little bit.
All get lost along the way somehow. Weight on my shoulders can't keep me
Now you've
down.
got you'd want a standard fade out there. What you would do is you'd repeat da 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 da. You'd fade out that chorus. So you would double up the chorus. You'd double up the chorus 2 more times, and then you do a fade, a step fade. So it would fade a little bit, the same, fade a little bit more, the same, fade a little bit more until it's out. Just something that's on the beat. Pretty basic there. Now, the kick drum could be harder. It could have a little bit more knock in the bottom end because you want it poppy, heavy, because now you're trying to get something that is comfortable for other people in other genres to hear. The bass sound that you're using at the end, I would double that, high pass the bottom end on the new one, and add some high end. Maybe use a transient designer and add a little bit high end to that, and EQ it a little higher, tuck it way under, and give it some more tone. Again, you're building up the very end of the track. Okay, so that's a whole new song that your engineer can do if he wants to see if this particular song could break into a different market. This song is perfect. It's a great song for the album. It already is an amazing song. This would be something that would be different and that would have a different market, but it wouldn't be offensive to anybody that's listening to it here. It would simply be a different version. It wouldn't be the wrong version. So other instruments and background vocals, it could be. I don't know. The guy that's doing them is fucking amazing. So, was it David Ray is freaking fantabulous. So those are just some ideas. So if somebody was executive producing this, now a project producer, not a guy that made a beat, but the project producer that would come in and say, okay, this is how this is going to be done. This is how this is going to be done. That's how somebody would come in and do that. This is what I would hear if somebody came in and said, hey, this is going to be the release. Let's make this thing a hit and let's start marketing it, shoot a video and get this thing out on the market. Okay, now, I'm pretty sure you've already got videos. I made it intentionally. Let's see, I didn't look up your videos, but I know you've got some really good ones. One of them really hit home, but I didn't watch it again because I didn't want to spoil the whole thing. I was looking at it and it's like, damn, I really want to watch that, but I didn't watch it. Okay, so again, those are some ideas. Hold on a second. Let me see. My wife just came out going, what the hell, Bob? Let me see here. Phathead, you gave me all the tracks. So everybody got really quiet. So unfortunately, I've been forced to produce songs before when I didn't intentionally want to or need to, but it's and here's how these things work. You get something on your mind, you go, damn, man, I wonder if that would sound good. And you just do them. The cool thing now is like we're not making tape thinner. We're not screwing up the tape, or we're not wasting too much time because it's so easy just to do them and see what they sound like. Even if you want to do a choir effect, just double up everything or get somebody else in the studio to sing it, auto-tune it and listen to it, and then go, yeah, I think we need to get in touch with a choir. It's so easy to just try something. Like you got a guitar player sitting in the studio, say, hey, do me a favor and play 4 or 5 different versions of it for me. Don't let them get away, especially if you're paying them. Good God, man. Don't let them get out easy. When I play bass on a track, I'll lay down 4 or 5 different bass lines because you just don't know. If I'm singing, do you need me for something? Oh, okay. So you just never know when. You want me to cover that up while you're doing? No. They saw you anyway. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. So everybody say, "Hey, D." So my big head's blocking you. So all you have to do is, all you have to do basically is give it a try. So if you go, okay, Bob said do this, this, and this. So next time, let me give that a shot and see. Well, Bob was an idiot. That was a really crappy idea. So I'm definitely not doing that anymore. So it doesn't hurt to try and see if it's right. And that's what I try to tell people every time we do the show, whenever I do live reviews. Most of this is just an opinion. So when you, pretty much every mix, every master, everything is an opinion. So you really just give it a shot. That's all you have to do. I don't care even if you pay a producer $10 million to produce your album. It's just a set of opinions. If you don't like them, just don't do them. Well, the record labels says you have to, I guess you have to, which is a good reason not to sign. So we know that, right? We all know that. So guys, it has, I really wanted to get into Catch a Vibe because that's another song, man, that I was actually going to show. Let's see here. I don't think I can play it, though. I was going to do something crazy real quick. I don't know if I can. I think Catch a Vibe has that same, it really has that feeling of being able to get a chart also, get a position on the chart also. I honestly feel that in my heart that it could follow up The Crown. And it's just one of those things that feels like it could happen. So let me see if I was trying to do something while I was talking to you. I don't know if I did it right.
They say the crown is fitted for the chosen one. I grew up as a loaded gun. Had to wait to understand the weight that I would overcome. A lot of rappers came and went, molded from the same cement. Corrupted in the brain, anything to be the main event. I didn't complain a bit, just wrote another chapter. It was like a Game of Thrones full of Nashville rappers. I seen empires crumble, then my family divide. Jelly said he knew a guy whose whole family died. So I walk up to the mirror and look that man in the eyes, trying to cope with sanity. I was damaged inside. If that line wasn't meant for me, it wouldn't. Thankful that I beat the system and withstood the streets.
Heavy is the head who wears the crown. Yeah, we are. Heavy is the head who wears the crown.
A little more bottom end on the kick drum.
Now fast forward to the current times. My family is stabilized. Wipe the dust off the pen and pad. I'm feeling energized. Now they see me waving high. Earth, it's time to say goodbye. My words never needed wings. I work, I strike to make the iron hot. Know the boy gets down. Embedded to the streets. I never walk around on royal ground. How's that for literature? Music notes position up. They call me Phathead.
Weight on my shoulders can't keep me down. Heavy is the head who wears the crown.
I'm living a dream. The crown is fit for a king, but it's just not.
Okay, so let's get this thing down. I gotta wait for it to save. My poor computer. So, Phathead, when you make that million, man, we're gonna. I'm going to. I forgot what I was going to say. I got so excited when I heard the vocals up on that chorus. That's terrible, man. I get too passionate when I hear something that just gets me going, man. It really does. So these well, okay, so I didn't get a chance to do much. I had to grab the sample and drop it into Cubase really quick and separate the vocals and everything. But you get the idea about the vocals coming up a little bit. So it's, but Catch a Vibe's the same thing. It actually has that ability. The thing is, though, there's nothing wrong with the work. The Crown does need those vocals up a little bit, but that's easy to do. Hell, I could do that here. You could do it also. It's even if you didn't have the stems anymore, it's easy to just tap those background vocal or that chorus up. One thing about the Crown, though, too, it's a chorus song. Okay, chorus songs are huge. Chorus songs are massive, man, because it's the part that people remember and they sing along to. Even if they sing along bad, they still sing along to it. The verses are there and they accompany the chorus. That makes a hit record. So, based on that and listening to the song now with the slight change in the chorus and the kick drum, dude, see, this just took me to a higher ranking than my favorite band, Slipknot. I would give this a 7 based on a couple of things being changed on the album. So as of right now, this is higher than my favorite 2 albums that I've listened to. So, yes, I did have a few things, and I was a little snooty about some stuff, you know, but I think overall this was a pretty damn decent as far as the review goes. I think I did a pretty good job, and I don't believe that I hurt too many people's feelings. I don't believe. And kudos to the engineers. Mixing, mastering, producer did an amazing job on this. You guys should congratulate yourself. You should go out and buy a piece of new equipment. You deserve it. You really do. Phathead, you're outstanding, man, as far as a musician goes. I absolutely love what you're doing. I can't wait until the next project. Now I have an opportunity to listen to this thing nonstop, so I can actually hear what's going on with every little piece. So, guys, we will be back on Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll have a whole list of music. Not really. I have a couple of songs I'm going to review. If you guys would like to have your music reviewed by an old fat guy, all you got to do is send it through our form at industryrecording.com. If you'd like to have somebody else's music reviewed, good, bad, or ugly, you can do the same thing. And check out all of our services also. We do offer a ton of free services for indie musicians. We will be having classes here on YouTube. And when we get our new facility open, we will be having space for interns to come in for a few days to be able to pick up some old guy tricks. We'll have some really cool engineers there. And bless each and every one of you guys. Thank you so much for coming out. And, man, I tell you, it has been an absolute pleasure being able to hang out with you guys. So I forgot to put some music up to play for me leaving. That was really weird that I didn't do that. So now I got to find something. Let's see here. Good night.
We got our windows down, driving down the 405, sing along to the radio. We're gonna make it someday. Nothing's gonna get in our way. We will be the